This is Robert Kiyosaki for A Conspiracy of the Rich. It's about, I hate to say it, chapter 11, but it's some people are going bankrupt and other people are getting richer. And we're talking about the unfair advantage a person with financial education has. And one of the biggest unfair advantages is that you can get infinite returns. And of the four asset classes, I think business is probably the best one because of the entrepreneurs. And you look at the richest guys, that's what they do. So I'm looking at an example of how I did it with Kim. This is the cash flow game. And we started designing this game in 1994. And in 1996, we raised $250,000 and we published the games and printed it. And today, because we started that business, the initial $250,000 capital raise, today we make about $2 million a month. And all of the money back, all the investments are paid back. Today we still have the asset, which is the cash flow game. We sell derivatives of it, which is a licensing. People license the rights to use my game in different languages, same as my books. So that's why I think business is the number one asset that a person can have. So today, for people who are afraid of losing their jobs and all this, you may want to consider a network marketing business because that's a way of increasing your leverage. But also franchising is another way. This is my friend Kelly Ritchie. We've been friends for nearly 20 years now, and he's going to explain how, as a franchisor.
Yeah, I'm the franchisor, and I'm going to explain how a franchisee can get infinite returns on their franchise.
Right, good. So go ahead and start talking.
Okay, so the first thing that you have to work out is how much you're paying for the franchise. In the case of the Rich Dad franchise, it's $35,000. So you invest $35,000 into the franchise. Now for us at that moment, it's how fast can I get the money back? How fast can I get the money back into my pocket? So in the Rich Dad franchise, we're looking at somewhere between 1 to 2 years to get your money back. And as you get your money back over this 2 years, the second the money comes back into you, you're now starting to look at getting what Robert talks about in his definition, this infinite return. So when we look at it and we do it the Rich Dad way, or through the Rich Dad philosophy, we're always looking at these, and I'm going to change the color of that because I think it's important that we do it in the way that it is. We're always looking at our income and our assets and liabilities. So as a franchisee, all you're looking to do is, in your business sense, here, we're looking at taking our business and we want to create assets that are going to put money, or if you like money this way, up into our income column. And the way that we do that in the franchise is the more cash flow clubs. So the business in itself is looking to create assets. The assets it's looking to create are cash flow clubs. So the more cash flow clubs that you create, the greater your asset, the faster your return comes back. Now by design, we're looking at these franchises doing between $100,000 and $200,000 a year. And for us, it's the more you work your asset, the greater your value and the faster you get to your infinite returns. So for us, what we want you to do is invest $35,000. We want to get the money back to you as fast as we can by building cash flow clubs, creating income coming in. Your money comes back, your club remains, now you're in infinite returns. That's how we do it.
Right, so and this is, you can buy a McDonald's franchise also, things like this. But the moment you get infinite return, again, as Kelly says, you get your initial investment back, but you also have the assets continuing to put money in your pocket. So if you follow our rules, this is the Rich Dad philosophy, the Rich Dad way of doing business, you could be earning between $100,000 to $200,000 a year, depending how good you are and how you follow our system of teaching you to be a franchisee and training to be a business owner. So this is a way a person gets an infinite return on a little $35,000 investment.
And coming through from earlier chapters, this is also the way of belonging to a team that spent millions of dollars developing a brand that the average person can't do. And if you start to think about what we're talking about, is we're saying that if you follow the systems and you follow the teams, you follow the leaders, you follow all of the whole 8 integrities of business, there's a very good chance of getting your money back very quickly and very long-term, ongoing, because that's the way Rich Dad designed it.
Yeah, my idea is to continually create assets. And by having a franchise, you're creating an asset, an asset, an asset. So every year you get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier.
Yep.
And your job is to train people to be cash flow club leaders and follow our system. If you want to do business your own way, then you start as an entrepreneur, as most people do, and they start their own business. But a franchise is a great way of tapping into the BI triangle. It basically granted a derivative, a license, to do business under the Rich Dad banner.
And by doing it with the franchise, the idea of getting to this $100,000, our belief that by doing it by a franchise, you'll get there faster, you'll get greater returns, and you increase your wealth in the other asset classes.
Right. But there's a lot of franchises out there. You can buy a McDonald's franchise. A McDonald's franchise, you'd have to put up about $1.2 million.
Yep.
And then it gets expensive. You'll spend a couple of years training. And then it really gets expensive because a McDonald's franchise to work requires you to have the best real estate. In other words, a McDonald's franchise will not work with cheap real estate. So the cost of a McDonald's franchise is really kind of the real estate. And then it's highly intensive. You got to train young people to run the system.
Well, you're constantly training young people, and you constantly got the expense of young people. In our design, we want to make sure that the whole team supports you in what you're doing.
So this is one way to get an infinite return through the number one asset, which I believe is a business. If you think you can start your own Google, knock yourself out. If you can create your own Facebook, knock yourself out. Or create your own McDonald's, knock yourself out. But each one has its strengths and weaknesses and all this, but I think what really fits for the Rich Dad franchise is an infinite return, and it's pretty quick, and it's not that real estate intensive. That's one of the beauties of the franchise, right?
Yes, and the other beautiful part of the franchise is the person running the franchise can only get better. They learn more about building clubs, they learn more about building business. This is an asset that will only appreciate, because the longer they do it, the better they get, the greater their asset and the greater return.
And that's what the Rich Dad company provides, is the training. You come to Phoenix and you train once or twice a year. Twice a year you come in for training.
You're here in Phoenix, and we're out to wherever we go. We're constantly training because we understand that knowledge is the new money. And the thing about in the Rich Dad franchise, you're always acquiring great new knowledge, and you're always got the advantage of taking that out to the world.
So there's other ways you can build a business. I'll repeat it. You can start a network marketing company. You can start your own business. You can buy a McDonald's franchise. But I think it's the number one investment people can make. Again, in summary, for $35,000, it takes 1 or 2 years to get your money back, and then from there you can look at $100,000 to $200,000 a year if you follow our systems. If you don't follow our system, you're not part of the system.
You won't be there long anyway.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.